Welcome to Her Hoop Stats, your all in one place for every level of basketball, no matter if it's Pee Wee or if it's pros and everybody in between. I am Helen Williams, and I am here with Cindy Brunson, Cindy, you're playing injured today, and we
Aw.
appreciate you.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, just a little under the weather. It's all these different time zones and weather situations. I left Phoenix and 80 degrees came to Nashville where it dropped to 35. I was like, wait a minute, what?
You're like, what the? Almost
Yeah,
made you curse, didn't it? Almost made you curse.
almost made me curse. And here's the thing, the flying public is not respectful of one another. I knew I wasn't feeling well, put on my mask, got on the flight, all of the things, trying to protect my fellow travelers. Is anybody else on the flight wearing a mask? I think there were like three of us total out of what, 200 people? Yeah. So, you hear the guy behind you barfing up a lung, and well, I may feel under the weather at some
I'm
point soon.
catching something. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you're yeah, listen, I do not get on a plane anymore since COVID without a mask. I don't
Yeah.
care where I'm going, whatever, for those however long. Like I always have a mask when I fly.
Yep.
Because of what you said, people just don't care about other people.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah,
sad.
and I'm not trying to catch anything.
No, no, no.
Because when we catch things, it messes with our money, right? We don't get to do games.
Yes. Yeah.
We're not trying to mess with our money.
Don't want the bank affected at all.
Well,
I was able to power
listen,
through.
I appreciate that. So you're in Tennessee, and I want to talk to you about
Nashville,
why
baby.
you're in Tennessee. Get a little bit more in depth. I know they talked a little bit yesterday about Athletes Unlimited, but you are boots on the ground. So
Yes.
I wanna talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is where can people watch it? Because that's important.
It's on the ESPN platforms, so
Okay.
ESPN Plus and WNBA League Pass. And
Oh, I
it's
didn't
also
know that.
it's also on a local station here in Tennessee, and forgive me, I don't remember what that local station is, but nationally, I know ESPN platforms and WNBA League Pass.
Okay. Good,
Yes.
good. Need to know that. So let's talk a little bit about what you feel is the purpose and the pros of not the cons, the pros of being of playing an athlete unlimited.
I tell you what, since its inception 5 seasons ago, we have seen people who were out of the league in the W get back into the league. I think Sydney Colson is the poster child for that, where she was not on a WNBA roster when Athletes Unlimited was formed in 2020, and we played our first season in 2021. And then she got noticed in Vegas in our opening season and has won a couple of WNBA championships as a result and extended her career. So I think it's an opportunity for players that you might not remember because they went over to Europe and just kind of fell off the radar, or they just didn't have roster spot opportunities in the WNBA and are just looking for somewhere to play. So I think it's a great way and a fantastic showcase for players in a 5-on-5 format with WNBA personnel or former players as coaches and all throughout the system here in Nashville, to help them get ready to return or extend or change their game and how they approach things in the WNBA. It is just a perfect, almost a farm system, if you will, of people to get in and improve upon things that they might have been lacking in. Like we have Kia Stokes here this season for the first time, and she's here to work on offense, right? Because we know she's a
Yep.
great defender.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
We know she can protect the rim and rebound, but we just don't see the offense like we used to see from her when she was winning championships with UConn. So she's here to work on that. And that's fantastic. And I think what separates women's basketball from men's basketball, and I will die on this hill, is there's an evolution with every single women's basketball player that is so beautiful to see. It's literally the caterpillar turning into a butterfly, turning into another butterfly over and over. And it's really cool. And you just don't see that on the men's side. Like James Harden hit the NBA, and he is the same dude when he hit the NBA and left ASU that he is today. Like there hasn't really been anything different. But I look at a player like a Sid Colson or like
Veronica Burton.
Veronica Burton, a great example, a former Athletes Unlimited player who everybody was surprised when she got to the Valkyries of how she was able to lead that team. We knew she could do it because we saw her do it for a couple years with us here at Athletes Unlimited. So the growth and development piece is so critical for Athletes Unlimited. And in addition to having a structured offensive format, there's also a pickup vibe with it as well, so everybody can try something new. They can work on their moves. They can do things in a safe space. And it's really fun to see.
It reminds me of when I used to go recruit. I would get these kids because I was at the head coach at D2 level.
Yep.
I would get these kids that I call sleepers, and they were kids that were going to be really good, but the only way for them to get good is to actually play in a game. And at the
Yes.
D1 level, they weren't able to play, so then they came to me. They got to play, and then they got to develop. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, 100%. I saw Nice the Beast yesterday. I haven't seen her play in person. So I was really impressed with Anissa Morrow in her debut. Of course, she comes through with a double double. I saw her do
Of
that 8
course,
times, right? 8 times with
of course.
Connecticut over the W summer. But what I didn't see her do with Connecticut is bring the ball up the floor and initiate offense. She started doing that in her first game with AU. So again, to my point, just folding in new elements, growing one's game, and this is the perfect format to do it in. And it's all for cash and prizes, right? We got a $500,000 on the table that's going to be parsed out over the course of the season, between salaries and prize money. And that you can get a bag and hoop uh, in the States, where your friends and
Yep.
family can come and hang. One-stop shopping. I think it's a really cool format.
Who do you think is going to be this year's Veronica Burton?
Ooh, that's a great question. Caitlin Chen, very impressive in her debut last night. Um, just passing the ball like a veteran. My big deal when I see a big girl on the floor is I worry, can the point guard get her the
Get them the
basketball
ball
right?
so they can do what they can do. They can't pass it to
Yes.
themselves.
Yes, and Caitlin Chen's entry pass to the post, the way she was feeding Mercedes Russell was just a chef's kiss. It was just like, oh, that girl was put on this earth to distribute the basketball. It was just so beautiful. So she caught my attention really early. Tahina Pow Pow in our opener was really impressive as well. And again, it's just about getting consistent burn. And we have so many young players, like from last year's draft class or that were rookies in 2025, ready to show up and show out here in AU. I think just top to bottom, it's going to be outstanding.
I love that for Caitlin Chen, Princeton.
Yeah.
I want her. I want her. I want an Ivy League player to do really well and
Yeah.
elevate in the W so people can know that there's actually some talent there.
Oh,
So that's
100%.
good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. They have some unique things too, though. You're talking about prize money and different competitions. Can you talk about those?
Sure. The ultimate is the championship at the end of the season. This is the
5 on
first.
5,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the first year that we've had a returning champion come back. Now, Nalissa Smith won it a couple seasons ago, but we've had one and dones. Like our first champion was Deanna Hawkins, and then she just kind of retired from basketball after that. So good for her. And then um, the rest of our champions have won and then kind of stepped aside. Alicia Gray, of course, elevated. Alicia went to play for Unrivaled. Awesome for her. Maddie Segrist is newly married, newlywed, so she's taking time to, you know, be with her family and all of the things. So that's cool. She won last year, but Smith won a couple seasons ago, and she's the first person to come back and possibly repeat. So that's exciting. And she had a great debut. She's a week one captain. So that's really cool. What I think is a separator for Athletes Unlimited is that it is player led. We have a players executive committee that decides who gets to play, They select the 40 players that are invited to Nashville, Tennessee. They select the coaches and they select the broadcasters. I have to get approved every single season to be
I
invited.
mean, come on, Cindy, that's a given, though. Come
Listen, I'm
on, you're
just
one of the.
so
I'm tooting your horn for you, for her, so she won't toot her horn. You are one of the best. So why is that even a question?
I'm just grateful and thankful for the opportunity. And I get to work alongside the Hall of Famer Cheryl Swoops, 3-time gold medalist, 4-time
There you
W
go.
champion.
I can't imagine they have to approve her too. Come on.
It's really cool. So yeah, because the players lead this league, they really put in what they want to see as far as how the games are played, the structure, the format. We have an elam ending for overtime. So
I
if the
love that.
yeah, the game goes to overtime, first to 7 points win. And the main criteria that drives this league is basketball excellence, because our leaderboard point system is designed to award positive basketball plays. Like, you make an assist, you get 10 points. If you shoot a 3 and make it, you get 30 points. Conversely, if you turn the ball over, you get dinged 10 points. So as you try to ascend the leaderboard with positive plays, you are very conscious of, wow, I got to make this free throw. If I make it, I get 10. If I miss it, I lose 10. So because
A
of
little bit
that,
of pressure there. Yeah, I
a
like it.
little bit of pressure and the basketball IQ of every player elevates as a result, because you don't want to make the good play, right? Because points are on the line. You want to make the great play. And that's another feature that I absolutely love. You get to see the hoops IQs on display all over the place.
So the most important person everyone needs to be nice to is the stat person.
Pretty much, yeah, because the person running the leaderboard, and we have a new ticker this season that makes the leaderboard very digestible. It just goes across the bottom of the screen. It's easy to
Okay,
see who's in first place, whatever, how it changes.
nice.
So that's, yeah, it's less clunky. So I really like that. And then the technology behind um, our presentation of how we show you the games has been elevated. We have a broadcast studio above the court this season for the first time, where we can have chats with players. We can do demonstrations. I had Cheryl Swoops at the monitor showing a beautiful dime from Bria Hartley down low. I mean, it was just an opportunity to grow the game in that fashion as well, by teaching and sharing not only historical aspects, but the nuts and bolts and X's and O's in the game.
But you mentioned that something about being chosen to be captain. Is it different captain every game,
Yes,
or
it's different captain week to week.
okay,
And that is
of the
based
whole league or just the team?
just every
Okay,
team with the 4 teams, 10 players per roster, right? For
got
40.
it.
And the captains are determined week to week by how you perform on the leaderboard. The top 4 players on the leaderboard will be able to be captains week to week to week. So it changes every week as a result based on performance. And then the biggest piece of all of this is, how do you perform? Does your performance lead to wins? We track wins in quarters. You get 60 points for every team member for winning a quarter, and you get 180 points for winning a game. So last night, Asia Taylor's team won every quarter and won the game. So she is now atop the leaderboard with more than 600 points because of all of the winning that took place by her team, Team Eclipse, in the game. So, and Asia Taylor, hello, hooping. She was in foul trouble in the first half, only was able to play a total of 19 minutes. Helen, she scored 22 points. Like,
Wow.
yes. And this is a player. She's a stretch 4, can play the
Yeah.
5, 4, maybe sneak out to the 3. That is looking to get back into the WNBA. Had tons of success at Louisville, helped them get to a Final Four, and has just been kind of off the grid. Took time to be a mom. She's got a 2-year-old daughter named Amaya, who's just a sweetie, and understands that her mom is a hooper. And it is so cool to see that relationship between the two of them. But she's somebody who's looking, at the very least, to get a training camp invite, which I think she will when all of this is said and done.
If I were a college coach, I would adopt that system. I mean,
Yes.
it would have to be adjusted, but I would adopt that because there's a little bit of pressure. There's increased basketball IQ. There's, like you said, making the great pet play instead of a good play.
Yep.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, and it makes my job as a broadcaster so easy because the skill level demands excellence, right? You have to be good to climb the leaderboard, and that's the goal because the top 4 finishers earn medals, they get bags of money as a result. We also have a defensive player of the year that garners a bag and all of the things. So it's a way to have success, right? You want to improve your game on the floor, but you want to have a nice payday as a result. So,
Sure.
yeah, there's zero risk and just tons of reward in this format. I love it.
I just love that this is just another opportunity for them to make some money at home and
Yes,
not have
yes.
to leave their family and friends to go overseas to some place that's freezing where they don't speak the language.
Yes, 100%. And I appreciate how much playing overseas helps so many of our greats, right? You hear the
Sure.
stories about Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird and all of the things. Cynthia Cooper was able to, help the Houston Comets win 4 straight titles because of what she learned hooping over in Italy. But players don't have to do that now. They can maybe go if they want to, but that's not the only option. And that's what I love the most about Athletes Unlimited.
Let's shift some gears to some people that you'll probably be looking at here over the next 2 or 3 years. There's some
Yeah.
games tonight that I will be. I now have YouTube, so I can watch 4 games at once on my screen, which I
Isn't that
absolutely.
multi-view
I
the
I
best?
love it.
Oh,
I love it.
yes.
So one of the ones I'm going to be listening to first is the LSU and Texas game.
Yes.
What are what are your thoughts on that before I say my piece?
I'm saying if Madison Booker and Rory Harmon are on, then it might be a long night for LSU. If either one of them falters even a little bit, then the door is wide open for Malaysia Fulwiley and Flau'jae Johnson and company. I really like the fact that LSU has so many players averaging double figures. It's insane. And I like their opportunity to to let Texas know you're in the SEC, but you haven't lived it a lot yet. And we're going to show you what that life is like.
Yeah, I think Texas sometimes though they forget about Oldacre. She
Yes.
could literally be a walking double double. It's like they'll go to her, she'll produce. I think she's shooting 65-70% from the field, and
Hmm.
then it's like they forget about her.
Yep.
Like she doesn't even exist on the floor, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, she just
Yeah.
scored five,
Well,
4 buckets
remember,
in a row.
they went and got Brea Cunningham because they wanted her to be that person in the post.
Right.
And I think that's another reason why Oldacre is kind of at the back of the mind because there's a check involved. They went and got Brea Cunningham.
See, I didn't think about that. Yeah, yeah, which is a shame because that kid can play.
Yeah, 100%. And that's just the ruinous nature of where we are in the landscape, right? That you've managing money now in addition to a roster and just trying to win games. We need guardrails, we need guardrails, we need guardrails.
That's another podcast, Sandy. That's another
I know,
podcast.
but it makes me insane because here's my thing. I started talking about AU about how it's so good on the developmental side, and I love to see that. I am
Sure.
so scared for college basketball in general because freshmen are not being recruited at the rate they were even 4 years ago. And if we don't bring the freshies in and pour into them and develop them, who the heck is going to be playing the games in 4 years? Right? Like, you've got to start
It's
somewhere.
yeah. It's not going to be that way. What it's going to be is that the mid levels are going to be developing those players
Yeah.
because that's the only place that they're going to be able to go because the power four they're paying money for people out of the portal.
Yeah.
So the mid level have to have kids playing, and so if I'm a mid level coach, I'm going, hey, listen, come play for me. I'll develop you, and in 2 years, we'll get you to a Power Four school where you're going to get a bag. Like
Yeah.
that. That's the only. That is, I think, one of the few places where they can actually go and play and show and develop that they're worthy, I guess, of the bag now.
Yeah, yeah. It's nuts. I mean, I had
Well,
Seton Hall the other day in my Big East package with TNT, and Tony Bozzella was telling us that he is intentional in recruiting 5 freshmen a season so that he knows from season to season he will have at least 5 players on his roster.
yeah,
Because they operate in this nebulous space where they're not a mid-major, but they're not a power 4. So they kind of are like, well, where do we fit in the landscape in recruiting and the money and all of that? Because they can't say, hey, we're a power 4, we're in the league in the Big East with Connecticut and everybody else, kind of. So he said he's very intentional just for his roster management to make sure that he's getting freshmen because he knows that they will stay with
I, like I said, that's another podcast. We got way
him.
off subject.
I
I want to
digress.
go back to I want to go back to LSU, and
Yes,
I'm always talking about depth for teams
yes.
and a difference between having depth and productive depth. But
Ooh,
LSU also has versatile depth in regards to that. And one of the players I loved, I don't get she gets got a lot of pub, is Grace Knox. I love her.
yes.
Like she is just she's mean in a good way.
Yep.
She makes plays that are necessary that no one talks about. Hustle plays, cleaning up everybody else's garbage, getting rebounds, and just adds a toughness to that team. I don't, they talk about Rashard and all the other plays, which
Mhm.
more power to it. But she's a kid that I think is an X factor for them every game. And I again going back to that depth, it allows LSU to rest Flau'jae, to rest Michaela,
Mhm.
but also keeps them out of foul trouble, right?
Yeah.
Because you have and this is Kim saying, take that to all of us who said you got a cupcake schedule. It worked for her this year. Like
I
play those kids are ready when they come into play.
Well, Grace is special, right? There's a reason why she was such a highly touted recruit, all of the things. And what I always look at every roster of the player that reminds me of the head coach. And Grace Knox reminds me of Mulkey. Just
Okay.
that, you know what I mean? Just that you don't need to look anywhere else for that team's toughness muscle, and she delivers on both ends of the floor. She makes smart plays and she doesn't mind doing the dirty work. She box out as if her ability to breathe depends on getting that rebound. You just love to see that. And to your point, she gives the other stars the ability to just breathe and relax a little bit and not worry about having to do all of the things because there is help. And about the cupcake schedule, all of the muscle memory that was created by scoring lots and lots of points is helping LSU now. You see the triple digits on the scoreboard multiple times in non conference play. I mean, they absolutely destroyed my alma mater, Washington State. It wasn't even funny. And the scoreboard looked like one of those jackpot deals in Las Vegas. It was ridiculous. But that created muscle memory for these Tigers. They know they can hoop. They know they can fill it up and go on a tear and on a run and on a heater in a hurry. And so when things get tough, they're okay. And I
Yeah.
think that really helps them. And because of their length and physicality and ability to play different ways, no opposition looks to be intimidating because they can play a variety of ways. I think LSU is a team that could mess around and take somebody's favorite spot and get to Phoenix.
They are a hard scout.
Hmm.
They're really hard scout. So yeah, so we'll see tonight when they play Texas. Her hoop stats gives Texas a 64% chance of winning. So
Hmm.
we shall see.
Okay. I
Speaking of
will say,
lay,
I will say, I'd like to take the over on which coach will rip their jacket off first. Will it be
Uh,
Schaefer or will it be Mulkey?
I'm gonna go with Texas on that one.
Yeah, I'll go Vic.
I'm gonna
Vic
go with
gets it
Texas on that one. Yeah,
done.
because Kim Mulkey's is a little more fitted, and
That's true.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
She can't just rip hers off
No,
like
no,
Vic
sequins
Schaefer
might
can.
fly and stuff. It
Yeah,
could
she'd
be
have to unbutton
dangerous.
stuff, unzip stuff, and
Yep, yep.
glitter stuff. Would be flying all over the place, and
You're true.
yeah. So
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Texas on that one.
All right.
Um, Speaking of length, I want to talk about Tennessee. They're playing Georgia. They are what's the word I'm looking for them? They are an enigma.
Yes.
Tennessee played great first half against UConn. Disappeared second half. Didn't play well against Mississippi State. What say you about Tennessee?
Tennessee is still looking for its identity, right? And the way that they shuttle players in and out with the line changes, everybody just doesn't seem comfortable with that at times. And I really look at Barker in that instance. She is used to being able to stay in a game. When she's on a heater, leave me in, give me the rock. And she is the one who looks most uncomfortable. And she knew what she was signing up for, right? She knew how Tennessee
Right.
played and all of the things. So I think for them, the consistency level just has to be in getting comfortable with how coach wants it done. And they've got this month of February to figure it out, because if they are this inconsistent heading into the SEC tournament, they're going to have an early exit.
Yeah, and I think also this new landscape, if you have people that are there from year to year
Mhm.
in that system, then they have some, as you said earlier, some muscle memory,
Right.
right? Something to refer to from, oh, we did this last year. Okay, this is how it's going to work this year. But now that you are bringing in different players every year from the portal, I think it's going to be really difficult to find some consistency when you have different people every year.
Yes. But I do appreciate that Tennessee has built a setup for the head coach to have success, because everything about her contract is incentivized, right? The farther she advances in the SEC tournament or in the NCAA tournament, there's a bag waiting for her. So she is very motivated to get everybody on the same page and figure this thing out.
Yeah, that's the one thing as a head coach. Like these kids don't understand. Like there's money involved. When I used to be at the Naval Academy and we played Army,
Mhm.
there would be one game a year that would be the Instar game,
Right?
and if you won that game, you get $500.
Yeah.
Right? There's a check waiting for you on your desk.
Yep.
So when we lost, I'm like, God dang it! I had plans for that 500
Right?
bucks, and
Because you've
now
already spent it. You know it's there.
I
So
already
it's
spent
like, okay.
it. I was just waiting for it to be on my desk. So, yeah, but I digress.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think it'll be interesting. Them playing Georgia. Georgia's playing really well. They also are a school that didn't have that hard of a schedule. Danny Carnegie making a big difference. They got the kid from Wake Forest who can shoot. That hurt my heart too. She's playing well. I can't pronounce her name.
Yeah.
Um, but that would be a good win for Georgia. I think if they're
Yeah.
able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. The Bulldogs have been coming on. I tell you what, the SEC is such a gauntlet. I mean, it's very easy to see why they might not get as many NCAA tournament bids as the Big Ten, but I think
They're not
there
gonna
will
be far behind though.
no, maybe one or
One or
two,
two less, maybe.
but I would wager that there will be more SEC teams in the Sweet 16 than there will be from the Big.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. All right, so let's move leagues though. Let's go to the ACC.
Okay.
Duke playing Louisville.
Hello, Duke.
Another no,
How are you?
another one of my. You can sing now. You
I I
sang the
I
first.
would. I can't trust this voice.
Okay.
But
All right.
here's the thing.
I was just giving you an opportunity because you were there from the beginning, and
I
so was I. I was like, she'll get it straightened
yes,
out.
this is what we saw on paper, right? We were just waiting for it to come to fruition. To go through the hand wringing and the teeth gnashing to get to this point was a bit much. I'm sure Kara Lawson feels like she might have aged a little bit in the first couple months of this season, but now everybody is seeing what we saw originally. Like, this is a team that can really wreck some folks and do some beautiful things on the basketball floor.
Yeah, she just destroyed my alma mater.
Mm.
I couldn't even watch the whole. I had to cut it off.
Uh-oh,
It was
uh-oh,
bad. It was
uh-oh.
bad.
Wow.
Um,
That was
but
like me. That was like me when LSU was destroying Wazoo. I was like, "No, make it stop, make it
yeah, I
stop."
was like, I think I'll switch to multi-view to
I
something else.
know, right? You start
Uh,
screaming uncle at the TV, like, "Enough, put in all of the subs, come on."
but she was still mad. She was still mad, and she spoke to her team through the media because understands that for them to do well, they're gonna have to clean up some stuff that
Yeah,
you it wasn't gonna hurt them against Wake Forest, but
right,
certainly when they play Louisville, um, gonna be interesting to see because I don't think they have any double figure scorers coming off the bench who play
mm-mm,
double digit minutes.
right,
So that's going to be interesting to me. And Louisville, they're a very versatile team.
mhm,
A bunch of people, a bunch of kids can score in a bunch of different ways. I still love McKinley Randolph. I still think she's an X factor. Shooting 50-some% from the field, 40% from 3-point range. Nobody's paying attention to her. Nobody's saying her name, but
nope.
that kid can play. And I think Louisville, they're a better free throw shooting team. So if they can get to the line, that's going to be to their advantage.
Oh, 100%. I think this is a great coaching matchup. I cannot wait to
Yes.
see the out of bounds plays drawn up by
Yes.
Sarah and Jeff Walls. I'm super excited about that. I think this is one of Jeff's best coaching efforts. To have his team where they are sitting in the standings and in the AP top 25, I don't think many people had that on their bingo card at the start.
No, they had the ACC championship going through North Carolina,
Yes.
and didn't even give Louisville a thought.
Mm-hmm. And here we are. This is the iron sharpens iron portion of the NCAA schedule, right? Everybody is forming where they're going to land heading into conference tournaments in the next 3 weeks. So it is the time to shine. And Louisville is ready because Jeff has just pushed every button correctly so far.
He'll still find something to complain about, though.
Oh, of course, because that's how he's wired, and that's
He'll
okay.
still be, yeah, still have that chip on his shoulder. He'll make up something if there's nothing there.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Duke. They need to win this to keep that top 16 so they can host. It's really
Yep.
important. I mean, it's important to win, period. But
Yep.
that's something in the back of my mind when I'm looking at whether or not they're going to win the game.
Yeah. No, and Duke has built so much momentum, right? Riding the ship, getting back on track. You don't wanna stumble now and stub your toe. You
Yeah.
gotta keep going.
So all the people who are worried about the Olympic squad, you can take a breath now. You can take a breath. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna
Yes,
have way better shooters than on the Duke team, so we're gonna be okay.
yes.
Caitlin's gonna be able to shoot
Well,
her 50-footers. We're gonna be fine.
yes, and to that point, the staff, I don't know what it's gonna look like, but based on the coaches that were invited for that first national team training camp, they were all offensive minded.
Yeah.
So a compliment to Kara's defensive ethos. So, yeah, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah. All right. Any other games you looking forward to this weekend?
I think you hit them all. I love this time of year. So much basketball everywhere across the landscape. Shout out to Unrivaled and being able to fill things out in Philadelphia. That was so impressive.
Oh,
And the,
that was awesome. Two
yeah, and
million dollar, $2 million profit, $400,000 from merchandise.
right, right.
Tell me people aren't interested in pro women's basketball.
Exactly. And some people look at our game and say, "Oh, you guys, you're there. You've made it." No, 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 no. We're still
No.
building this thing. We are still step by step, brick by brick building this thing. And that was just another nice nod to, yes, if you build it, they will come. And just having access, telling people where to watch, being on TV, all of the things, it all matters because the talent is there and the game is so exciting at every single level. And I just want to shout out all the fans that continue to show up and show out. I know Arizona women's basketball, I leave that job to do other things around the country. And Becky Burke got her second Big 12 win as Arizona beat K-State. Bunch of fans in the house. And when the game was over, she implored her fan base in Tucson, let's hit 10,000 for our Territorial Cup game against Arizona State on Valentine's Day. I will be there, and I would love 10,000 in the seats. That would be amazing. Two first-year head coaches and Molly Miller, who's got the Sun Devils, on the bubble for the NCAA tournament,
Yep.
and Arizona in a rebuild as well. So it's exciting that at every single level, every game matters, and the fans are showing up and showing out, and I just love it.
Shout out to the recruiting coordinator for Arizona who they had to get an entire team in a very
Yes,
short amount of time.
11 new players.
In
11
a
new
short
players.
amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for playing hurt today. I hope you feel better. You're tomorrow, right? Not today for Athletes
Not today.
Unlimited.
Today is an off day for Athletes Unlimited. We're back at it Friday and Saturday. Just a nice little warm up. If you're flipping around, I know you've got the 4-box, but we're available on ESPN and WNBA League Pass. So just pop in. I mean, our headline player is one of the most accomplished in the world, Tina Charles. The second leading scorer in WNBA history is playing Athletes Unlimited for the first time in her career. And we're so excited to have her. And she's trying to prove to WNBA executives that, yes, her price tag will be big once this new season,
she's worth it.
But that she's worth it.
Okay. Hot herbal tea.
Yes.
Just a touch of rum, a touch of honey, and some lemon.
Yes, you had me at rum. I like that.
Okay. That you take that before you go to bed. You wake up and it'll all mostly be gone.
Okay, Dr. Helen.
I got that from my mama. Home remedy. I don't drink except for when I need to have that. But
okay,
I'm telling you that combination works. Herbal tea, rum, lemon, and honey.
Right. Well, I'm not afraid of adult beverages. We hang out in Atlanta.
We've already established that.
Yes, I could do that. Anything else you want to touch on before we?
No, we're good. I just want to make sure people tune in for Athletes Unlimited and make sure to follow Her Hoop Stats on all of our social media: Blue Sky, Instagram, X, podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. So
yes, and let's cross fingers and toes. Let's get this CBA done. Come on, league, get back to the table. Stop the nonsense. Let's go.
There you go. I got to end it on that.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
Bye.